What are the odds of winning by making infinite Merfolk in Standard? That's what we're going to find out today. So here is our infinite Merfolk deck for Standard, and this deck is kind of hilarious. It plays a ton of janky cards, but if we can get the right combo of those janky cards on the battlefield together, our reward is making infinite Merfolk, which then hopefully you're going to win us the game. And all of our combos come back to one card. Deeproot Pilgrimage is basically the foundation of this deck. Without this card, none of our combos work. It's a 2-mana enchantment that simply says, whenever one or more non-token Merfolk that we control become tapped, we get to create a 1/1 blue Merfolk creature token with hexproof. So how do we go infinite with Deeproot Pilgrimage? And there's actually a bunch of different ways in the deck. So the easiest combo, Deeproot Pilgrimage to Forensic Researcher. Forensic Researcher, just a 3-drop Merfolk that can tap to untap another target permanent. So if we have 2 of them, we tap the first one to untap whatever, the second one untaps the first one, then the first one untaps the second one, back and forth, back and forth. Every time we tap them, we're making the Merfolk token with Deeproot Pilgrimage. Infinite Merfolk, easy win. However, there's a problem with this combo, which is it requires us drawing 2 Forensic Researchers. But thankfully, we got a way to cheat on this. We can draw 1 Forensic Researcher and then a Marvin Murderous Mimic, which just gets all the activated abilities of all creatures that we control. So it fills in as the second Forensic Researcher. We knew the same combo, tap the Marvin, untap the Researcher, tap the Researcher, untap the Marvin, making Merfolk tokens every time we tap the Researcher. So this is just a way to add a bit more consistency to the deck. So that's combo number 2. Forensic Researcher, Marvin Deeproot Pilgrimage, also makes infinite Merfolk and wins us the game. The third combo, going a little bit deeper, involves Leyline of Transformation and Agatha Soul Cauldron. So Leyline of Transformation just lets us choose a creature type, and all of our creatures are that type. So this is a way we can make non-Merfolk into Merfolk. And then Agatha Soul Cauldron exiles creatures from the graveyard to put counters on things, and then things with counters have all the activated abilities of those creatures, so we can get a Forensic Researcher in the graveyard, or maybe our opponent kills it with removal, or we loot it away with one of our looters, exile it to Agatha Soul Cauldron to give something else its ability, and then use Leyline of Transformation to make that thing into a Merfolk, and then we can do the same combo, but essentially with any 2 non-token creatures. So those are the main ways that we can go infinite with this deck. The other huge piece of this puzzle is Voldaean Hexcatcher. So Voldaean Hexcatcher solves one of the big problems with the deck, and one of the biggest problems with this combo is we make infinite Merfolk, but they're all summoning sick. So we make infinite Merfolk, and then we gotta pass to our opponent and be like, please don't wrath our board, please don't cast a temporary lockdown or a sunfall or a deadly cover-up, because if you don't, then we're going to kill you next turn. So basically, our combo requires us to wait for all of our Merfolk to lose summoning sickness to attack and actually win the game. But Voldaean Hexcatcher mostly fixes this problem, because it lets us sack a Merfolk to counter a non-creature spell unless its controller pays 1. So if we make infinite Merfolk and we have a Hexcatcher, not only does it pump all of our Merfolk, which is a nice bonus, not that it really matters if we have infinite Merfolk anyway, but it gives us infinite negates, essentially, where we can just keep sacking Merfolk to counter any sweeper, any removal spell that our opponent might play, which makes it much harder for our opponent to actually deal with all of our infinite Merfolk after we made them, because they can't just sunfall them all away or whatever. So Hexcatcher helps make sure that once we combo, we actually are going to be able to win the game with our Merfolk. Otherwise in the deck, we get a bunch of looters. Rona, Kitsa are just here to loot. They fill our graveyard, they dig for our combo pieces, and if we have Leyline of Transformation, they're pretty funny as a backup plan, because we can just tap them to draw and discard, and that'll also make a Merfolk token with Deeproot Pilgrimage, assuming we have Leyline to turn them all into Merfolk. Impulse just digs through our deck to find our combo pieces into the Flood Maw, in the mana base, bunch of islands, Sunken Citadel to help us activate our fountain ports, in the sideboard, and I should say, we are playing best of 1 today, but I've tried the deck in both formats, so this is my sideboard for when I was playing best of 3. Flood Pits Drowner, a Merfolk that gives us some more removal, Ghost Vacuum for graveyards, negates Shore Up to help protect our combo pieces, into the Flood Maw for more removal, and that is infinite Merfolk combo for Standard. That's our Against the Odds deck for today, so let's jump into some games and see just how realistic it is that we can make infinite Merfolk with Deeproot Pilgrimage and a huge pile of jank in Standard. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back in a bit for the wrap up. Want to help out the channel? Well, you can snag these super sweet new dice, playmats, tokens, and more over at mtggoldfishmerch.com. Need some magic cards? Well, you can snag them from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. Against the Odds time, we are attempting to make infinite Merfolk in Standard with the help of Marvin, Murderous Merfolk. Not a Merfolk at the moment, but this deck is... it's so janky, but when it works, it's going to be sweet, I think. This hand, not super close to comboing, but it's fine, right? We got an Impulse to dig for combo pieces. We got a Looter. We got a Marvin, which is a combo piece, but we need another combo piece to go with it. Opponent leads on a Sunken Citadel. Well, Island go. Let's see what our opponent's up to. And... Prologue to Ferris's Ill. All right, Poison Control. Poison Control might be a tough matchup. Let's play Marvin since it dodges go for the throat. So to combo, we need to keep 2 creatures on the battlefield, which against decks that are just all removal can actually be tricky. Drawing Forensic Researcher is huge though. Like Forensic Researcher with this Marvin, if we can find Deeproot Pilgrimage, we're actually ready to go infinite. And we have the Impulse to dig for it, so we might actually be able to find it. The question's going to be, can we actually keep these pieces on the battlefield? I expect our opponent's deck gotta be removal heavy, right? That's kind of the whole gimmick of the Poison Control deck, is just like kill all your stuff. Wow, okay. Blight Belly Rat. I mean, I guess, do we start playing Forensic Researchers? I'm still worried about counters, but I mean, what's the other option? We Impulse to dig for the Pilgrimage? I guess we could play the Rona, but... So if we play the Looter, Marvin becomes a Looter. If we play the Researcher, Marvin can untap something. I think we just gotta use our mana, get down the Researcher, cross our fingers, hope our opponent, I don't know, plays a bunch of random proliferate stuff or something. We could go off next turn. If we can find Deeproot Pilgrimage off Impulse, we actually have the mana to just combo opponent land and... are they gonna leave all their mana up? Well, we might as well untap. Wow, all the Forensic Researchers. Do we go for it in the face of all this mana? Oh, do we wait another turn? Let's play Rona. I think we're going to not try to win this turn. I feel like the odds are just not very high against the control deck with all the mana up. Rona's cute in the... Rona's especially good if we can find Leyline, but... Bring the Ending. Well, we will pay for that. I mean, opponent had to know we could pay, right? What do they have, 2 of them? Ooh, ha ha ha. Untap a land with Forensic Researcher. Marvin, untap a land and pay for that. Well, I mean, it's not that we care that much about this Rona, but we wanted to send a message, and we got 2 counters out of our opponent's hand, so that was kind of a good turn for us, actually. Come on, just tap out for something. Not a Wrath, though, not a Wrath. Mountain land and 5 mana, they could have Deadly Cover-Up. That is the right amount of manas. Man, we're so close. We're so close to Infinite Merfolk. Opponent gets a Swamp. Okay, draws a couple cards, sure. This is going better than... Oh, wow, they killed a Rona. Okay, opponent has no respect for our combo. All right, let's punish them. All right, Found Board, that's not it. Impulse, come on, Deeproot Pilgrimage. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, and Deeproot Pilgrimage. Now, we can tap a Merfolk, Forensic Researcher, and untap a land. And now Marvin has its ability, so Forensic Researcher ability, to untap the Forensic Researcher, which can untap the Marvin, which can untap the Researcher. And I think this should be the win, right? Because we can actually play the Valerian Hexcatcher and have essentially infinite negates up. Infinite negates, so even if our opponent has interaction, it shouldn't matter. So let's make a bunch of Merfolk. We can also combo more instant speed, but we want to make enough that we can counter anything our opponent could do. Any non-creature. Well, I guess if they have exactly Harvester of Miseries, we get incredibly blown out, but I don't think Toxic plays that. But any non-creature we can deal with now. That is why we play Hexcatcher in this deck. Like, so the combo, we make Infinite Merfolk, but we need to untap with them to actually kill our opponent. Hexcatcher means our opponent can't just Wrath us. All right, Drowned in Ichor. So... Hexcatcher. I mean, we got to sack some Merfolk, but that's kind of fine, right? Because we have infinite Merfolk. So, sack a Merfolk. Would you like to pay the one opponent about it? Oh, wow. Okay, yes. Well, in that case, do a little comboing. Untap a Forensic Researcher and untap Marvin. Make a Merfolk and sack the Merfolk. Would you like to pay the one? I mean, this isn't going to work. I mean, I guess our opponent has to go for it and just hope that we mess up somehow. Well, second Merfolk. Opponent, would you like to tap out? Pay the 1. All right, so, I mean, this worked exactly the way we hoped. Right down to the Hexcatcher providing the protection, and now our opponent, I mean, now we just go back to combo egg, make the Merfolk, beat you down, opponent scoops it up, and that's how you make infinite Merfolk. I can't believe we beat control. That is our worst matchup, but yeah, we'll take it. This hand's fine. We have looters for days. See what our opponent's up to. Plains, okay. Well, let's play a Kitsa Otterball Elite. Whatever happened to Kitsa? When Kitsa was first spoiled, I thought Kitsa was going to be a card. I thought Kitsa was going to be good. It turns out, though, that the prowess style decks are just not really in blue at this point. I don't know, Standard's going to get so wild that Kitsa could be good at some point. Well, we did not hit a land, so let's do a little looting with our Kitsa. Ooh, still not a land. Let's discard, I guess, a Marvin. We have a lot of legends in hand right now. Well, Rona time? It is funny, like, this is backup plan mode, but if we can get down some looters and then get Leyline of Transmutation to make them Merfolk, we can maybe win fairly with Deep Root Pilgrimage, just like looting to make Merfolk. Well, land and temporary lockdown. Thankfully, just to get lost. Okay, we get to keep a looter. Well, that's a land. Are we going to attack with Kitsa? They could have answers. So let's play the land. Yeah, let's just play another Rona. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of free unless they have Elspeth's Smite, which I guess they could have, but no, don't look at our... It's only one. It's only one. Okay, opponent, gonna take the beats. Whew. All right, losing Kitsa would have been a bummer. Well, pass the turn, go back to looting. So what we still need multiple split up. Actually, kind of hilariously bad against looters. We will tap our Kitsa to do a little looting with another pilgrimage. What are we discarding now? I guess Kitsa? So Kitsa lives, Rona down, Egg of the Soul Cauldron. Not a land, but good. We need to find forensic researchers, though. That's what we're missing. We actually have pretty much everything we need to win, except we can't find any researchers yet. Or are we pitching another Marvin? What do we just... The discarding's getting tough. Yeah, let's pitch a Marvin. With the Soul Cauldron, Marvin's less likely to be necessary. Yeah, I guess we run out at Soul Cauldron. I mean, I guess we could have chipped in with the Kitsa, but the way our opponent delayed, it actually makes me worried that they have Elspeth's Smite. And they were like, well, I'm not going to smite because... Enduring Innocence, sure. I'm not going to smite because I'm just going to split up anyway. So I feel like they could still have an answer. About it. Lay down arms. Oh, yeah, we can't really do anything about that. Sure. Our arms have been laid. Let's Volnaren Hexcatcher and turn it into a Rona, I guess. Doesn't really matter. Rona and Kitsa are kind of the same. Wow, another Hexcatcher. Okay. So we can play the Pilgrimages and just attack? Play the Pilgrimages, attack. If our opponent blocks, we have an interesting choice. I'm kind of hoping they just don't block. So if they block, we can exile a creature to put a counter on our Hexcatcher to make it live. But then the Enduring Innocence is going to come back. Oh, they did have Elspeth's Smite. Okay, well, this is fine. We can sack a Merfolk. Wow, the Soul Read. that turned out exactly like we thought. So what do we do if our opponent blocks? Do we save our Hexcatcher? My impulse is save the Hexcatcher, but we could also just permanently get rid of the Enduring Innocence by exiling it. How much? We got another Hexcatcher. You know what? We're gonna let it go. I don't know if this is right or not. Hexcatcher is very good. But so is Enduring Innocence. I think just sniping this Enduring Innocence probably worth. Now we get a counter on our Hexproof Merfolk. So we can't go infinite with the tokens because we need non-token creatures for Deep Root Pilgrimage. We can still turn them into looters though, which is nice. Another Enduring Innocence. So we could bounce it. Well, let's attack. Let's attack, see what our... There's no... Are they gonna block this? That would be something. Wow. Wow. Okay. Sure. Yes, please. Block away, friend. Well, we have the same choice, and we're gonna do the same thing. Token dies. We will... Do we want the Hexcatcher with a counter on it? Let's wait. I'd rather flash in at the end of our opponent's turn to dodge, like, lay down arms. So just eat the Enduring Innocence. Ship the turd. Opponent. a token, sure. And do a little scrying, probably better known as bad surveilling, to the bottom. Well, let's run up. Well, let's just make the token. That might, well, actually, let's make the token. Make the token. We don't really need the hex catcher yet. So we can turn the token into a looter? I guess we can probably do it with the maps. That's probably even better. Map on the fish. And more fountain ports. All right, we kind of just want this counter. Can we please? Can we please get a counter on the fish? Island. All right, so much for that plan. Well, now maybe we do have to Soul Cauldron. I don't think we attack because we kind of want to loot for combo pieces. Opponent gonna sack the carrot cake. I mean, we're kind of out-tokening our opponent at the moment with the fountain ports. Fountain up to 26. Gaining life doesn't really matter, right? Because if we're gonna win, we're going to win infinitely. Opponent carrot cake number 2. Even more buddies. Scries to the top. The fish is holding down the fort here. Well, let's exile a... doesn't really matter. Marvin, I guess. We just want the counter on the fish to turn into a looter. So we need a forensic researcher. That's number 1. Well, do some fish looting. Another Soul Cauldron, eh? Yeah, we'll pitch the Soul Cauldron. And make a fish. About it. Passing. I guess we... go back to looting with our Rona fish. Ooh, okay. Forensic researcher. So I think we actually discard the researcher since we have Soul Cauldron. So all we need to do now, we need to flash in this hex catcher, exile the researcher to the Soul Cauldron, and then we're good. Then we should be able to go infinite next turn. The fun thing about this deck is there's a bunch of different ways to piece together the combo. The most straightforward is just like 2 Forensic Researchers, Deep-Root Pilgrimage, but there's also like this line, which is like no actual Forensic Researchers, get one in the graveyard, Hex Catcher, turn it into a Researcher. Once we add Leyline to the mix, then you get even more wonky ways of going infinite. Well, make a fish, play the Hex, and opponent apparently knows what happens and scoops it up. Well, we didn't get to see the infinite Merfolk, but yeah, we were about to make them. We got a researcher into Marvin, which means technically if our stuff just lives, we're a Deep-Root Pilgrimage away from Wombo comboing. We'll see. We'll see if our stuff actually lives. Let's lead on a Citadel. Pass turn. Oh, about it. Island, eh? Well, play the island. Let's just run out the Hex Catcher now. Since our opponent's blue, if we wait until they have more mana, they could just counter it. Inquisitive Glimmer. Oh, boy. Well, I don't know how this goes. Well, there's the Pilgrimage. We actually have all the combo pieces we need. We need like 2-ish more turns. Maybe they won't have that much removal. Ossification. All right. Not great. What are we going for? How about the Hex Catcher opponent? That's the Lord. It's pumping our Merfolk. It counters your stuff. Just don't kill the Researcher. Yeah. All right, opponent. The thing about Researcher is it's a bad enough card that if you play it, people are like, their alarm bells go off, right? They expect some shenanigans, because if you're not doing shenanigans, why are you playing Forensic Researcher? Ooh, there's a Leyline, which we don't even have the mana for. Let's see if we can reassemble Forensic Researcher. Dealing damage with this deck, I don't know how much it matters, because I think the odds of us winning fairly are not super high. Like, if we don't go infinite, I guess it's... Oh, come on now. Sheltered by Ghost opponent. All the removals in their Aura's deck. Yeah. Again, Snake's the Researcher. We need a good draw here. Island. Well, Island's not the worst. We can play a Deep-Root Pilgrimage. Unfortunately, they're exiling our Researchers. It's better if they kill them, because then at least we can Soul Cauldron them. Well, get in hitch and make a Merfolk and play a Marvin. Pass the turn. Opponent Plains. You can't have even more removal. Oh, another Sheltered by... If we can draw Fish Bounce. Actually, no. We need a land too, don't we? Because they have double ward. Yeah, we might be in trouble here. Ethereal Armor. That thing is getting big. Well, we're going to block with the Merfolk token. Thankfully, it does not have evasion. That's the one saving grace. Rona. Well, I mean, I think we need to get down the ley line. Ley lines are so much worse when you have to cast them, but I think our plan for the moment is turn Marvin into a Merfolk, murderous Marvin the Merfolk, and start making chump blocking tokens, because this Glimmer is huge. Oh man, if we could deal with that somehow. Spellbook Vendor. The Spellbook Vendor is a problem because to keep making our Merfolk tokens, we need to be able to keep attacking with Marvin. Although I guess we can play Rona and turn it into a looter, so I guess it's kind of fine. Opponent combat gets in. I mean, as long as this Glimmer... Oh, they're gaining so much life. As long as the Glimmer does not get evasion, let's play the Rona. So Marvin is now a murderous looting Merfolk. And I guess we'll just loot now, make a Merfolk. And, oh, there's the Soul Cauldron. All right, discard the Marvin, play the Soul Cauldron. Hope for the best. Pass the turn. Oh, if only we could deal with this Glimmer, we'd have... so many of our researchers are locked away under this Glimmer at the moment. Another Ethereal Armor. All right, opponent. I mean, you can't outgain Infinite. Oh, well, okay. But you can just kill us before we go Infinite. Yeah, sending that to there. We're not going to not keep this hand. It's not super close to comboing. Actually, we have like 0 combo pieces, but we do have an Impulse, which could find one, opponent. What are we doing, Rakdos? Oh, Lizards. All right, Iridescent Vine Lash. Well, let's lead on the tap land on blue. Go. Yeah, this might be tricky. We're going to have to combo super fast, and this hand does not seem like it's a super fast combo hand. Yev, and opponent hits us down to 18. Well, let's play the land and get down. I guess Rona can at least block Vine Lash. That's something. The Geb's going to be a problem, though. That's going to make all the lizards super big. Still haven't managed to make a lizard wizard deck. It's on my list. Opponent land and pings us down to 17 and gives us down to 14. And passes. No. The old post-combat Fireglass Mentor. Sure. At least they're not drawing a card off it. I mean, I guess they were just going to exile it anyway, so it probably makes the most sense to play it post-combat right now. Well, let's loot with Rona. Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Yeah, let's pitch the tap land, I think. And I guess our plan is pass the turn. We can bounce something in Impulse. We just need so many pieces. We might need too many pieces. Let's... The Soul Cauldron's interesting. That could give us... we're down to 9, though. Oh, and the Gecko. Yeah, this is a problem, down to 8. Yeah, Lizards might just be a bit fast for our deck. And the Fireglass Mentor. Well, let's do some impulsing. I think we're just dead. Let's take an Impulse. I don't even know how we get out of this, honestly. We could have taken the Forensic Researcher. We're just like dead though, right? Researchers, oh boy. Yeah, well, we're super dead. Yeah, that's a lot of lizards. There's a Deeproot Pilgrimage. However, there's no card in the deck that saves us, and yeah, we'll scoop it up. We haven't really done things with Leyline yet. This hand's interesting. We have Leyline, so everything's a Merfolk. We have Forensic Researcher and a Rona. Rona is a Merfolk. It's pretty sweet if we can find a Deeproot Pilgrimage. Opponent, tap land, cracks it. Or Fabled Passage, not a tap. Well, it will be a tap land. Fabled Passage, cracks it for a Schwamp. Well, land and Merfolk Rona. Your go about it. So we need to find Deeproot Pilgrimage. That's the next piece of old puzzle. Mosswood Dread. Oh, Golgari. Okay. Hey. We spoke it into existence, the Deeproot Pilgrimage. Okay, so now we get to do cute things, at least. Looting with Rona, which will also make a Merfolk token. We have the Researcher. The question is, do we even play the Researcher? We might just pitch it and go in on the Soul Cauldron. Opponent. Swamp and Innkeeper's Talent. Sure, good card, but not as scary until it gets leveled up. Let's loot with Rona. Probably the tap land. All right, we draw an island. Well, if we can dodge the removal, we're so close. So we play the Marvin, trigger Rona. I think we're going to end up looting away the Forensic Researcher. I think it's actually just better in the graveyard this game. So get down the Marvin, play the land, get down the Soul Cauldron, trigger Rona, do a little looting. So we're set up that next turn we can go infinite, assuming our opponent does not have any removal. Well, hit you for 1. And then I guess we still need one more turn of attacking. Well, let's see what happens. So we are up against a deck that should have a lot of removal. That's kind of what Golgari does. Opponent. Yeah, Leyline's so sweet in this deck. Like, it's so funny. Oh, you're gonna kill Rona? Okay. I mean, we can beat one removal spell, right? Loot with Rona, make a Merfolk. Another Researcher. Sure, we'll discard. Yeah, we'll discard the land. We really only need Marvin. We need one non-token Merfolk. Are we leveling up? Are we tapping out? No cut down? Okay. Well, I think it's time to go infinite. So, exile a Forensic Researcher. Put a counter on a Merfolk token. Untap. And I get the Soul Cauldron. Do a little exiling. Rona. And it's combo time. Counter on the Marvin. So, Marvin is a Merfolk that is also a Forensic Researcher. Has its ability. I guess we hold the land. Chip in for some damage. Hit you down to 13. And, well, now we combo and hope our opponent doesn't have a Wrath. We can loot with token Merfolk Rona. Then Marvin, the murderous Merfolk, untaps the Merfolk, makes a Merfolk, and then the token untaps the Marvin untaps the token. Infinite hexproof Merfolk. Oh man, okay. As long as they don't have like a deadly cover-up or something. That would be a nightmare. Well, tap and untap, tap and untap. The combo, like, it is pretty sweet when it works. Untap a Merfolk and tap a Merfolk to untap a Marvin and do it again. So how many do we need? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess we want at least 13. 13 hexproof Merfolk. If our opponent has a Wrath, they have a Wrath. Like, then we got to try to rebuild, I guess, with the Marvin in our hand. If they don't have a Wrath, the fact that the Merfolk tokens have X-proof is like a nice little bonus, right? They can't just kill them with targeted removal. We're close. We're close. So that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We got enough. All right, opponent. Do you have an answer? They can't kill us with Innkeeper's Talent because it's not leveled up. If they had one more turn, they might have been able to combo us. We might have been just fast enough. Because if they level this up, then they can just get us with a Planeswalker. Are we going to kill the Marvin? Going to kill the Researcher? At this point, the damage is done. Go for the Throat the Researcher, sure. We didn't really need that anyway. This deck plays a lot of cool cards. I will give it that. I don't know if it's like, it's not good really. It's kind of janky, like million piece combo. And opponent can't beat the Merfolk. And, well, that is Murderous Marvin Merfolk power. We got the Leyline. And we got the Deep Root Pilgrimage. The sound's actually kind of sweet. We need another piece to actually go infinite, but we might be able to get some Leyline value with the Kitsa. And run the play, which is good. Well, land, go. What are you up to? Something, I was going to say something without a lot of removal, but leading on a swamp probably means removal. I think there's some argument, yeah, we're just going to run out the Pilgrimage. So the thing is, if they're black, I think discard's one of the most popular mono black decks. And if we lose our Pilgrimage to Duress or something, that would be very disappointing. Let's just pass. I feel like with our opponent having mana up, if we run out Kitsa, it's going to die. Like, almost for sure. Land on Demon. Plus, we can Impulse to go digging for a combo piece. There's a Duress. Well, let's Impulse. And, well, unfortunately, we just got to take a land, I think, or they're going to Duress the Impulse. The second Leyline doesn't do much. Ooh, Hexcatcher. Okay. That's something. Let's play the Kitsa and pass the turn. Opponent. Land on Phyrexian and Archfiend of the Dross. Well, run out the Hexcatcher. Another Marvin. Well, let's do a little looting with the Kitsa. Make a Merfolk. And into the Flood. Okay. Maybe. Can we race the Demon? Play the Marvin. We're still a piece away from going infinite. But we can bounce the Archfiend and not take any damage. We get to double loot. Oh, I guess we're still... Oh, another Archfiend? Oh, that's a lot of big flying demons. Well, let's do a little bouncing. Into the Floodmaw. Pick up that Archfiend. Another Leyline. Well, that's good discard fodder, at least. I mean, we can deal with non-creatures. We just can't deal with these huge demons at the moment. All right, another Hexcatcher. That's better than another ley line. Well, let's use Marvin as a kid said. Do a little looting. Make a Merfolk. Fountain Port. Yeah, we're going to keep the Hexcatcher. And yeah, pass the turn. Oh, these big flyers, though. Our opponent might just have a fast enough clock. Oh, golly gee. Okay. Man, now we need literal lethal next turn, and I don't think we have it. We have a pretty impressive board, but we never went infinite. Another pilgrimage. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We're so close. We have 20 power, but we can't get through the bloodletter. They just block. So I guess we have to loot since we can't. I mean, we are dead on the backswing. So I guess we need to loot and find a removal spell. I get the Soul Cauldron, but that doesn't really change anything. Plus, even going infinite here doesn't change anything, right? If we go infinite, we still just die to the flyers. Removal? No. Well, our deck kind of did pretty good for being fair mode. Like, we actually made a lot of Merfolk without the combo. In the end, though, it turns out that 1 or 2 big flying demons is worth a lot of 1/1 groundbound Merfolk. Against the odds time, we are trying to make some infinite Merfolk in standard, and this hand actually pretty good. We actually have the Researcher and the Marvin, so we need a deep root. Oh no. Oh, Heartfire Hero. I will say red is still very popular, even with A-Line Band. I'm to the point, I'm doing the CGB thing where if you play against mono red enough times, I'm just like, I'm not going to post a video that's just all mono red. We'll just leave those out. But suffice to say, mono red, still very popular, still very good against our deck. I mean, if we can just combo fast enough. The one good thing about this red deck is they probably don't have that much removal, right? That's not really, they might have some shocks or something, but the red decks don't play a ton of removal. So maybe we can just stick our combo pieces and go infinite. We do need to find Deep Root Pilgrimage, and we need to find it quick. Super quick, because this deck can pour on some damage. Opponent, are we going to use a land to trigger Valiant? All right. Rockface Village, going to trigger Valiant on the Heartfire Hero. Yeah, we can't really block. I mean, we could block, but we can't block effectively. We could double block, but then a pump spell. We got to keep the Researcher, right? So I guess, well, let's see how our opponent attacks. All right. I guess we probably Kitsa in front of the Ember Heart and hope that maybe it survives. If it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. Like, the Researcher is way more important about it. All right, just gonna shock our face, trigger Prowess. Well, we will loot. Another Soul Cauldron. Well, we only really need one of those. Down to 15. Rona. Well, let's 1, 2 play the Soul Cauldron. Yeah, let's play the Marvin. It hurts because if it dies, we're so far away. The upside is we have the combo minus the Pilgrimage. So if we can find the Deep Root Pilgrimage, we do just go infinite. And I think going infinite probably. All right, Manifold Mouse, double trouble. Oh, does this make us chump? Not exactly. Okay. I mean, this means we're definitely dead in a couple of turns. Basically, it means we need to go infinite this turn. But if we go infinite, we make enough blockers that we probably can survive trampling, double striking mice. All right, opponent gonna trigger both. Sure. Draws nothing of relevance. All right, that's fine. We're only taking 6. I thought it was gonna be way worse than that. So exile, Researcher. Now can loot. Can we find a Pilgrimage? Not yet. Discard the island. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. Come on, deck. Down to 9. Yes! Yes. Deeper Pilgrimage. Okay. Okay. So play the Pilgrimage. And it's combo time. And I think this should work, right? So not only do we get to combo, yeah, it's okay, Bear. It's okay. We're winning. We get to combo and we have Hexcatcher. So if they have pump spells or burn spells, we can actually stop them. All right, so we got to make a bunch of Merfolk. Time for Click Simulator 6000. Marvin, untap the Researcher. Researcher, tap the Marvin. Do it again. Do it again. And that should do it. Wow. Well, apparently we can beat mono red. I don't think we beat it very often, but it always feels good when you win the matchup that you never win. Well, let's untap and do a little tapping, and untap and do a little tapping. And we do need to make sure our opponent dies next turn. Oh, boy. Can we make enough Merfolk? We also need to be able to block. We also need to be able to block and soak up enough damage. We need Merfolk that we can sack to counter things. We need at least 20 power to attack with, and we need to survive our opponent's attackers. The Hexcatcher is so huge. I think if you look at our combos with the deck, I think we've had multiple combos that if we did not have Hexcatcher, we would have comboed and lost. But the ability to combo and essentially have infinite negates on the battlefield is, it's kind of, like, when you build a combo, you want to win right away, right? You want to be able to win the turn that you combo and not wait a turn. Not, combo would suspend one, win would suspend one. You want to be able to win right away. However, making sure you can't lose for one turn is actually almost as good as winning right away. And that's where Hexcatcher is pretty powerful. So opponent double strikes up the Heartfire hero. So we just need to, let's see, block you, block you, block you, block you, block you. So block everything. Oh, it has, okay, it's trample, not double strike. That's fine. That's fine. We don't even really want to kill the Heartfire hero. We just want to make sure we don't take too much damage. And now, opponent's going to lightning strike our face. Sure. That's what our Merfolk are for. So Hexcatcher. Sack something that's chump blocking, I guess. And counter the lightning strike. And that should do it. That should do it. That should do it. And that's Infinite Merfolk taking down Mono Red. Down to 7, but that is fine. We will go back to making a little bit more power. Yeah, tap, untap, tap, untap. We need 20, and opponent sees what's happening and scoops it up, and, well, that's how you win with Infinite Merfolk. So janky, but so sweet when it works. So what did we learn this week about Infinite Merfolk in Standard? And record-wise, we won a little bit under 30% of the time with the deck. So the deck, not especially competitive. If your goal is to rank up to Mythic or whatever, probably not the deck for you. On the other hand, the deck's super hilarious, and it's really fun to see, like, Leyline of Transformation actually popping off, and all these other jank cards, Forensic Researchers, Marvins, that don't see play anywhere, and it did show that in the right scenario, the deck can actually be pretty powerful. The big issue with the deck, from a competitive perspective, is we just need too many combo pieces to actually go infinite. We always need at least 3 combo pieces, and 2 of those are creatures that gotta stick on the battlefield and not die to removal, so basically, it's just not consistent enough to really be like a tier deck or anything. But the combo's really funny. If you like Merfolk, it is a fun challenge deck, and it shouldn't be too hard to put together. So anyway, that is Infinite Merfolk for Standard. That's been our Against the Odds for this week. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.